All right, it's warm, cloudy, muggy. Jeff Brule and I are armed with micro jigs. You know what time it is. So you, even with this technique, you going with the nibbles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Want some?
Sure.
So.
All right.
Yeah, you want to reel it fast enough where you're not too close to the bottom. It can be pretty high. You know, kind of think of it almost like a spinnerbait.
Okay.
You want to kind of be up in the water column, but like when you get out of here a little deeper, you
let it fall.
Slow it down a little bit. To me, it's just more of a like spinnerbait, search bait kind of thing.
Just covering water.
Yeah, put something up.
So Jeff and I are casting and retrieving right now. We're throwing, well, I've got a 1/32 ounce death grip jig head with a popsicle micro jig, just casting it and kind of running it along the bottom. Jeff used this technique just a few days ago and caught several fish. But if this doesn't work, we got a few other tricks we can employ, certainly. We're both fishing 4-pound tests, really, really light line.
So expect break-offs.
Yep, there will be some break-offs. Were you feeling a tick the other day, or just?
Yeah, it's like just like a sucker trout bite.
Really? Okay. So these trees, we're not really sure what they're called. Jeff thinks they might be red maples, but when those are blooming like that, that's when it's prime time.
There we go.
You got a bite?
I got one.
Looks like a decent fish.
It's a good fish. Here.
All right, Jeff. There we go.
That's nice. That's what we want right there, cuz.
Big old whitey.
Yep.
Nice. He was right here off the cypress?
Where them bubbles are right there. That's how far out.
Okay. Let's see if he had a buddy.
He's got a male or a female in there somewhere. Some of the bigger ones I had were male. All the big ones I had were male.
Really? That's interesting.
One black. I had 2 females.
Oh.
Right?
I think it might have been a bite. I'm eager to catch one with this technique. I just love these stupid fish, man. I don't know what it is. Come on, Jeff.
That's got to be a nerve. I thought it might have been, here you take this one. John hit as soon as his board. They're right there, right to the right of that pile. So when I picked up, I thought I was home.
Ooh, he smacked it. Not a big fish, but boy, that was literally, it felt like a trout. It was unmistakable. I mean, how'd that little fish hit that hard? All right, that's good, that's good.
You definitely feel them a little kick.
Yeah, I'm surprised how well I felt that one. Oh, look at that, Jeff.
How far out they are? Some of them way out.
Oh, so you think the ones that are that far out are just staging?
Yeah, I think they're just staging up. Come in.
Getting ready, starting to think about it.
Yeah. And that wasn't a tapper, that was just, I thought I was home.
He was just there.
Yeah. What's the weirdest way you've seen people catch fish?
That's interesting. What's the weirdest way I've seen people catch fish? I mean, some of the coolest things I've seen are, you got one? Yeah. Man, Jeff, that's a good fish.
Yeah, I get that one in.
Nice.
He's deep, deep. When you get out here, just kind of slow.
Just let it go all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, probably the coolest thing, catching tuna on top water.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But then also just dropping chunks and watching the tuna come up. You know, you have 150-pound tuna right under the boat, and watching them hit the one with the hook in it.
Yeah.
But you know, that to me ends the fun. Like, I don't want to fight that fish.
Yeah.
You know, I like being on the boat when somebody's fighting it. That's exciting, but I just don't want it to be me. Man, Jeff, you are absolutely whacking them. Look, oh.
I don't ever net them. You know, they're all fun to catch. They get away. We'll catch them next year. That was a good eater there.
He was out too, huh?
He was way out, but he wasn't shallow though. But because I was really working pretty fast, I don't know if it's the color. So, I got a bunch of these tails if you want to try something different.
I might ought to. I doubt it's the color, but. Oh, goodness, Jeff. He thumped it?
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get my butt whipped, but I'd like to catch one or two.
Well, get up here in the front.
No, it has nothing to do with it. It's not like you're catching every one.
That's true.
It's technique, 100%.
Yeah. Are you using fluorocarbon or?
This is actually 4-pound mono.
Yeah, that might be a difference too.
I bet if we traded rods, you'd still catch them.
Yeah. Dog. That was a thumper. Welcome to the Marshman Brule Show.
At least I caught one. Something to hang my hat on.
This point by the dock. That was all that was weighed in. Got to the point, I guess, where he had a 5. I believe it.
Oh, he smacked it. There we go. Now, Jeff's a big believer. Man, look at this. A hair. Jeff's a big believer in nibbles. And I've been stubborn, haven't been throwing the nibbles. I put it on, almost immediately caught that fish. So guess what I'm gonna do? Put on another nibble. It is a super fun way to fish them when they smack it. You know, I don't have a ton of experience tight lining sac-a-lait. You know, most of the time I've fished them with corks, but it's so different this way. It's amazing how hard they hit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think they'd hit that hard.
You know, catching them every freaking cast, and you back there, you can't get.
Oh, there he is. Well, he ain't a giant, but you can't ensure only the giants bite.
That's why it's done.
Brimmer.
There we go.
Oh, get him, Jeff.
There we go. That one hit it pretty quick. Nice. There we go. All right. Catch that one by that cypress tree.
Saving him for you.
Okay.
No way. Call that shot. I must be an idiot. Good night.
He's fish though. He's a returner. I got some of these colored tails and heads if you want to try that. I think it makes a difference.
Seemed like they were hitting this before. It's just
I don't really think it makes a
I don't think it does either. I'm not.
Got a nibble on there though, huh?
No, yeah. God. I'll hook a limb. Jeff hooks a fish.
Nice one.
This is maddening. Thank you, sir.
I'll give you the one I've been soaking in kerosene, you know.
I don't know why I'm not hitting that one. All right, so as you can probably notice, I'm getting my butt kicked by Jeff. I'm not surprised by that. I kind of expected it. I've been throwing this popsicle, which is a really good color. I really like it. I've had success on this river in that color. But I'm not matching his success. I really think it's a matter of different fishing style. I think he's lower in the water column, but just in case, I am gonna change to the exact same color he's throwing. What type of bait is this, Jeff?
That's one in Bobby Garland.
This is a Bobby Garland.
Now I got a milk money. If I did earlier catch them on that blue ice I gave you, but that's to me one of the top colors right there. That color there on the river.
This is called blue ice. Jeff really likes it. Man, I thought I had a little something figured out. I caught a few. Man, I can't get a bite now. Cannot get a bite.
It's coming. Keep the good man down.
Yeah, we'll see. Starting at my doubts.
You're way ahead of me on them sticks. I have to give you that.
Thank you. Yes, give me credit for something. I didn't see you catching that many sticks.
Like I said, I think I'm working at just a hair higher.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
In the water column. Because I'm holding my rod way up here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 7 foot,
Yeah.
So.
Now I'm bound and determined to figure this out. It's a fun way to fish them for sure.
Oh, yeah. Catch that one by that cypress tree.
Yeah, I guess I will this time. Why not? There he is. Oh, goodness. There we go. That's a big old fish. Come on, big boy. All right. All right, so Jeff gave me a good tip. Actually, I was fishing too slow. I was consciously trying to really slow it down. And so I picked up the pace just a little bit.
I think if you fish a little too slow, like you noticed you were getting limbs, you were hooking limbs a little bit far off the bank. When you do that, you're probably fishing a little too slow.
So you're probably going under them?
Yeah, you're
under the fish.
Going under the fish.
Okay, all right. Well, whatever, it worked, Jeff. Appreciate the tip. Now, I gotta tell you, if you've never done this technique, it's absolutely amazing how hard these fish hit these baits. You know, we're fishing 4-pound tests, which you figure is pretty elastic. You wouldn't think that shock would transmit through that line, through this rod, to your hand as well as it does, but they're really smoking it.
Yeah, we're not fishing $200 and $300 bass rods either. They're real sensitive.
Exactly, right. So that tells you how hard these fish hit these baits. It's really pretty intense.
You do have to watch your line, because there's bigger fish sometimes the line will just move off in one direction. Like you run over something, or you won't really feel a bite on the bigger one sometimes. You just see your line swimming off.
Yeah, you've had a few that have done that to you, huh?
Yeah, and those are the ones I usually miss because I don't get a good hook set on them.
Yeah, the hard hits are just instinct. You just set. And I don't know how well you can tell this, but we're staying a good bit off the bank. And these fish, Jeff's caught a few real tight, but mostly they've been, I don't know, what would you say, 10 feet off the bank?
Yeah, 6 to 10 foot.
6 to 10 feet off the bank. But Jeff was saying earlier that literally every day, you know, if it stays warm like this, today's really the first true warm day we've had in a while, but if it stays warm like this, these fish every day more and more will move up to that bank. But I'll tell you, this is an absolute blast fishing them this way. I'm not having near the success Jeff is, but I didn't expect to. It's a really fun way to fish. I've never fished them this way ever. So Jeff, I'm guessing as time moves along, you'll transition more and more to corks, right?
Yep. Sometimes they'll be slap up against those cypress trees. You might be fishing 6 inches to a foot. The water's still low because we've had all these north winds and not a lot of south winds, so the water's still maybe 6 to 8 inches lower than it normally is. But as that water gets higher and higher with these south winds, warm days, they'll get tight on them cypress trees.
Yeah, all right. And you know, we forgot to mention, I think, you looked at the temperature gauge, it was what, 62 earlier?
Yep.
Probably a little bit warmer than that now.
Get down by that cypress tree.
No, nothing for you. I figured it was your turn.
Yeah.
I don't know why you took so many of my turns, though. Oh, there we go, Jeff. He smacked it.
Yeah.
All right.
That old dog learned something, huh?
Maybe. Might have learned something. Yeah, that's the biggest surprise to me is how hard they hit it. That's, yeah. I'm just shocked. I really am. This could be very, very addictive. Well, they just seem like such a docile, placid fish. You know, they just kind of hang tight to cover. You just wouldn't think they'd be that aggressive.
Nice part. These are some of the best eating fish they got.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. Best eating fish that swims. Oh, there he is, Jeff.
You learning? Oh!
Yeah, based on these bites, I'd say definitely my problem was fishing under the fish.
Yeah, it's hard for somebody to go catch other people.
It is. It's very hard. Yep.
What you think they're doing is not
exactly what they're doing.
Right.
There he is. I'm a fan of your technique, Jeff. I'm a fan. I might never throw a cork again. It's a chilly morning and I'm on a cypress line river here in South Louisiana because I got crappie on the brain. All right, the water temp, as you can see, is 60 degrees. That's pretty chilly for us. Probably a smart man would start with a cork just to keep baits suspended in that strike zone longer. But we've been using this tight line technique, casting and retrieving, and it's just been a blast. Just so much fun. These fish just pound the bait, and that's just really how I want to fish them. If it's not effective though, believe me, I'll switch to that cork. The air temperature when I launched was 42 degrees, so it was a cold night. It's supposed to get up to 79 today though, so it's gonna warm up a bunch. Hopefully we can put a pattern together and find some fish. Well, that's not what we want. What are you doing biting in this 60-degree water? Oh, there's one. Oh, I missed him. Oh, that was a definite crappie. I saw him plain as day. It was a good fish. Hook is nice and sharp. That's not the issue. Really good fish. He just pulled free. I got a used boat for sale if anybody's interested. Oh, there's one. Well, it's not the biggest crappie I've ever caught, but it's a start. Definitely a black crappie. All right. I think I'm gonna keep him. Big enough to fillet. Why not? Let's see if there's any more right there. There's a laydown you probably can't see under the water. I was just running it down that log. Oh goodness, that's a pig. That's a tank. I hope I get this fish. That's a good one. Oh, he's just rip and drag. Oh, come on, stay on. Come on. Oh goodness. All right, that's a good one. That's a good fish. Now he was way out. Look at this big guy. Beautiful, beautiful sockeye. Man, I love to see that. Of course, we in South Louisiana call him sockeye. Yeah, he was hooked well. No chance of losing him. That's good. Love it, love it. Now, that was a white crappie. Both of them thrive on this river, both whites and blacks. Seems like the whites get bigger than the blacks. All right, stop number one. Got us 3 bites, 2 of which we landed. Oh, Todd. That was bite number 4. That could have been a brim, but it was a really hard hit. But there's a ton of places to fish on this river. We haven't even scratched the surface, and I really feel like the bite's going to get better as the day moves along, just because this water's going to warm up. These fish should definitely get more active, even though it's a really bluebird day. And crappie definitely bite better on low pressure days with cloudy skies. But it's prime time right now. These fish are pulled up and spawning, no question about it. So I like our chances, but we're going to make a little bit of a run. Back in a minute. All right, we're at spot number 2, fishing the same technique. Water temp here is 60 degrees. I can feel the air temperature definitely getting warmer, but obviously that water temperature is going to take a bit more time to get warm. If I had to guess, air temperature is probably about 50, maybe upper 40s. Now, if you can see, dead ahead is my shadow. I really hate fishing like this. It's nice because you're not staring into the sun, obviously. Oh, that was a bump. But I really think it spooks the fish. They know something's up. This gigantic UFO passes in front of them. All right, end of the road for stop number 2. No bites. And I think I'm gonna make a little change before stop number 3. I think with this water temperature down, based on what happened at stop number 1, my bites all came way out. I think those fish have probably retreated a little bit with the colder water. So I'm gonna put on a bit of a heavier jig head and see if I can focus on that drop off. It might be where all those fish are. This is a 1/32 ounce, and it's just really not getting down. When I get it up close to the boat, I can see it. It's about 18 inches down. I almost can't fish it slow enough to get it get it down. So I'm gonna make that change, and hopefully it produces some fish for me. We'll see. All right, so now we got this 1/16 ounce jig on. Let's see if that makes a difference. Ooh, there's one. That's a hard hit. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful, just beautiful. Nice and deep, nice and deep. What you like to see. All right, unfortunately I had another glitch with my chest cams. Just GoPros are maddening, but I think I made 2 casts with this 1/16 and caught a fish. Also got another bite, so definitely that was the change that needed to be made. The 1/16 allows me to fish it a good bit faster with the bait still getting down. That 1/32 was just too light. The bait was staying too high. I couldn't retrieve it slowly enough. And it's kind of a fine line. If you go too slow, you fish under the fish. Either that or you don't inspire that reaction strike. But if you fish too fast, you're too high in the water column. Not only that, but the 1/16 is way, way, way easier to cast. I'm fishing a 4.5 foot H2O Express rod. Not really designed for casting distance. And spooled on here, I got 4-pound test mono. Probably fluoro would be a better bet. This water's pretty clean, but also that fluoro sinks. And you know, fluoro of course is lower visibility than mono. And I'm tipping it every single time with a nibble. My buddy Jeff has schooled me enough fishing nibbles for me to really appreciate their value. You wouldn't think casting and retrieving would make that big of a difference, but it does seem to. I'll tell you what, my time with this coat is drawing to a close. It is getting warm. Just spooked the bass off a bed. Threw right on his head. Didn't see him. When I was putt-putting back here, I ran across 4 kids in a little John boat, 4 high school age kids. And literally as I passed, they pulled in a really nice slab, throwing slip corks. Definitely love seeing that. Reminds me of myself when I was a kid, but it just seems no kids fish anymore. All right, I shed the heavy winter garb. Feel a lot better. That tells you air temperature is definitely getting up there. That's good. Water temp is still, man, 60.9 back here. I mean, that sun's got to get high because so much shade in this area.
Get anything?
I've gotten 1 back here, that's it. How about y'all?
2.
2. Should get better as it warms up.
Yeah.
Are you Marshman Mass on?
Yeah.
I'm subscribed.
Yeah, we subscribed you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you saw my last video, but I shot it back here.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why we're out here.
Oh, okay, good.
We live in the neighborhood right here.
In Chifuncta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Where y'all go to school?
St. Paul's.
St. Paul's. Well, good luck. I hope y'all whack them. There's one. There's one. That's a good fish. Hope he stayed. Oh, it's a big red ear. It's actually a big one. That one's gone in the box. Shell cracker, lake runner. All right, it's not the target species, but I'm disappointed not at all. Those are really, really good to eat and really fun to catch. Fight super hard. He was not bashful on the strike at all. Now, I've got very little experience with this technique. I did it just a week or so ago with my buddy Jeff. First time I've really fished sac-a-lait or crappie tight lined. Typically I fish them with corks or not at all. And I love that. It's a lot of fun, but this is way more fun. Just feeling those fish hit, it's amazing. It's amazing how hard they hit. Oh, goodness. There we go. There's one. Not a big one, but a white. All right. That fish, like all of them, was out. I don't think I've gotten a fish close yet. They're all out. That was definitely the hardest hitting fish of the day. I mean, he just ripped the rod out of my hands. Incredible. Not the biggest, but the hardest hit. That's the thing with doing this. Like, the hits are shocking. They're just literally shocking. Everything's so light that you're using light line, light rods, light reels, and then it's like a Mack truck falls on your line. It's incredible. You know, I do a lot of fishing for redfish. They obviously hit extremely hard, fight really, really hard. But with reds, you're kind of geared up for it. You expect those hard hits. You expect a hard fight. These little crappie, man, they're incredible. Just an irresistible fish. That's why I can't get enough of it this time of year. And look, I mean, look at the scenery. It's beautiful here, super relaxing, just low stress. With everything going on in the world right now, I mean, I don't know how you have peace of mind if you can't do stuff like, oh goodness, stuff, oh, that's a big one. Stuff like this. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Let's show the audience. There we go. There we go. Again, he was out, and again, hit like a ton of bricks. Hit me like I stole something. Woohoo! That 1/16 has made a big difference. It's allowed me to fish deeper off away from the bank. I'm making these casts, keeping my rod up initially while I'm shallow, and then lowering it as I get closer to the boat. I'm fishing right now in 5.5 feet of water. I don't know exactly where these fish are holding. They may be holding right on the bottom, but as clean as this water is, believe me, they can see and feel that bait a good bit over their heads. And it seems, based on the 2 times I've done this, you definitely want to do a straight retrieve. Last time I was kind of hopping it a little bit and wasn't getting bites at all. I didn't get anything until I did that straight retrieve. I want to shake it every now and then, but nothing too extreme. I just love it. I just love it. It's just incredible. Oh my goodness, one of those kids just fell in. Hopefully he's all right. All right, they're all laughing, so I guess everything's okay. The kid was standing up while the boat was underway. The driver dropped the throttle and the kid fell off the front of the boat. Yeah, I can see they're fishing now, so obviously nobody's hurt. That's good. As you can tell, it's a super calm day. I mean, just beautiful. Actually, there are a few gnats around. Not like it would be today in the marsh, that's for sure. I think the gnats would be absolutely horrific today in the marsh. Now, I have discovered this stuff called marsh romance that gnats despise. It's kind of similar to the Victoria's Secret amber romance that we all use, except it doesn't smell quite as feminine. It really smells good, actually, and it's very, very effective. Definitely, I'm definitely a fan. If these gnats get any worse, I will apply. How do gnats always get inside your hat? That's what I want to know. All right, these shorelines are starting to warm up a little bit. 62.2 right here. You see the sun is shining right on it, working its magic. I can tell you, the sun's really feeling warm. The air is definitely feels a lot different than it did this morning. It's now 10 a.m. Oh, man, you gotta be kidding me. You smoked it. Ah. Oh, there's one. That's a good one. That's a good fish. Oh, big black one. Big black sockeye. Look at that one. Whew. That's a beauty. Look at that fish. Is that awesome? That is awesome. Oh man, I'm so happy to catch this fish. Such a beautiful fish. Ah, he just pooped on me. Look at that. Thanks, dude. You know, they call these fish paper mouths because their mouths are ridiculously soft. So you do lose a high percentage of the ones that you hook. That's why you never really know once you hook one whether or not you're gonna land him. You get one that size, which is a pretty big fish for this area. Oh, there's one. Yep, that was a brim. I saw him. But when you get one that size, you definitely are happy when you see him come over the gunnel. Crappie are vicious, absolute savages. It's amazing how hard they hit. Oh, there's one. That's a bass. That's a bass. All right, dude, get out there and grow. All right, remember me and hit me again when you're 5 pounds, okay, buddy? It's the least you could do, you owe me. All right, late winter and early spring is when crappie, which I call sac-a-lait, go crazy here in the South Louisiana swamps and rivers, and I absolutely love this time of year. This is one of my favorite fish to catch, definitely my favorite fish to eat. Let's see if we can find some. All right, I'm starting with a 1/32nd, is 1/32nd? I'm starting with a 1/32 ounce death grip jig head, one of the little ones designed for catching crappie. And I got that team with a popsicle colored curl tail grub. And my buddy Jeff has taught me over the years the importance of tipping with crappie nibbles. Makes a world of difference. So I always do it now. I'm fishing a technique that Jeff and I did last year and had really good success with, just casting and retrieving, dragging these baits at a actually pretty good clip once you kind of figure out the depth the fish are holding. And this crappie run's getting going a lot later than usual this year. We've had just a ton of rain, lots of cold, not severe cold, but just kind of consistently cold. And I think that's delayed those fish moving up to spawn. This is the first time I've checked for them, but I have checked with, oh shoot, tree limb. I have checked with buddies who target these fish a lot more than I do, and nobody's had success yet. But it really warmed up today, so it's kind of hard not to get out here and do this. It just feels right. Feels like it's in the air. Feels like that time of year. Now, 2 mistakes I made last year doing this was fishing too slow. So I think I was fishing under the fish, and also I was trying to kind of give my bait some extra action. That didn't seem to work in my favor either. I think you really just need to cast and retrieve, just almost like fishing a spinner bait. And when those fish hit, there is no doubt. It's not, you know, sac-a-lait are kind of thought of as a dainty fish. Their nickname is paper mouth. Kind of seems like a sissy fish, but man, they crush these baits. You know, I'm fishing 4-pound test right now. Ultralight rod. You would think I had no idea when a fish hit, that it would just kind of bow up. But no, you actually feel them crush the bait. Really, really fun way to fish these things. Most people in South Louisiana fish them with, oh shoot. Most people in South Louisiana fish them with corks. And you know, obviously that's fun as well, but this is just a whole, oh, got popped, missed him. This is just a whole lot more fun. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, that's a good sac-a-lait. There we go. That's what we came for. Let's see if we get him in. All right, there we go. Oh, that fish is cold. That's a white crappie right there. This river has white and black crappie. That's a white. It's about to put this fish in the live well. Notice something. Look at his tail. It's all messed up. Gotta figure that's probably from him making a bed. When I get home and clean this fish, probably gonna discover he's a male. Now, I do have a cork tied on, about maybe 2.5 feet above a Matrix Mini. And I really like to throw corks around grass. So I got these 2 nice grass patches here. I'm gonna see if I can get a bite on this. This really isn't my favorite way to fish them. Definitely prefer that tight line technique, just a lot more fun. But I prefer this to not catching fish, that's for sure. It's always fun watching a cork go down. All right, it's hard for me to cast very long with that cork. Got to check to make sure they're not tattooing it, but this is just more fun. Oh, there he is. That was a smash. Oh, goodness. Oh, another one. Just beautiful. Come on, don't get off. Yes, got him. Oh, that's another white. Just a big old fat wide fish. Beautiful. Just so much love this technique. He hit me a good bit out. I don't know if he followed it or he was just holding out. I guess they're kind of staging about to move up. He was definitely away from that bank. Unfortunately, my boat's kind of drifted over it. Well, isn't that always the way? Didn't see that tree limb up there. Got my bait back, good. Lost my nibble, that's a fair trade, I'll take it. I made a switch, you may have noticed, to this blackened chartreuse. for two reasons. It's a 16th ounce head. It also, you know, this water's really stained, so I kind of want that darker color in this darker water. Definitely shows up better, and you got the good contrast with the chartreuse. Man, there's a million gar right here. Goodness. Found the gar hole. If you've never done much crappie fishing, it's just something magical about it. It's so relaxing, so peaceful. Just a really fun way to fish. Come out here, catch 10 or 12 fish in a couple hours. You'll have a great meal and just an even better time. I just love it. Oh, shoot. And I only do it this time of year, in the late winter and early spring, when these fish move up to spawn. There's guys who chase these fish all year. I got other things on my mind most of the year. But you know, this time of year, the marsh fishing is not fantastic. It'll get fantastic in a few weeks, but it's not there yet. So this is a great time filler. I really love it. Look forward to this every year. The water temp back here is 62. In the main river, it's 57. That's cold. That's cold for this area. Oh goodness, that's a beautiful fish. He hit me way out here. That's a tank. Well, not a tank, but a nice fish. I watched him hit it. A really good one. Look at this. Another big white crappie. Look at this fish. Tattooed it. I watched him come up and hit the bait. Oh. Stay in the boat. There we go. All right, come on. I'll give you a new home. Right here in the live well. All right. All right. Put a nice box of fish together. He hit me right next to the boat, literally 6 inches from the boat. I was about to pick up the bait. And also, once again, that fish was way out. I'm probably fishing too close to the bank. Oh, shoot, missed him. It's always amazing how far these fish will move to hit these baits. My bites have come way off the bank. And you know those fish have to be holding, I mean, at best they're suspended, but likely they're much closer to the bottom, and they rocket up and smack these baits. And I'm fishing 4-pound test. As stained as this water is, I could definitely get away with 6, but you never kind of really know until you get out here. And I spooled up before, so far it's not a problem. It really only becomes a problem when you get snagged, which happens a lot. Obviously, throwing around a lot of stuff, getting snagged is part of the deal. If you're not getting snagged, you're probably not throwing in the right areas. And so far today, all I've caught is white crappie. It's kind of how it is. Like, you either catch a bunch of black crappie or a bunch of white. They obviously move up at different times. And some people say there's a difference in taste in white and black crappie, but I've never noticed that at all. They're both delicious. I know that. If you follow a lot of my marsh videos, you know I let a ton of fish go. This is a fish I have trouble letting go. If I catch enough, I will let some go at the end of the day, but I just love them so much. And that's really half of the fun to me of fishing these fish. Maybe not half, but it's a significant percentage. Just knowing you're gonna get to eat them. Well, the sun's coming out. It's never a good thing when you're catching fish. I don't like for it to cloud up if I'm catching fish. I don't like for the sun to come out if I'm catching fish. I don't like to be out too long though. Now my bites had gone to nothing, and I discovered why. Well, maybe it's the sun, I don't know, but part of my tail's missing off my bait. You can see this one's got long curl. Wasn't acting right in the water. And just FYI, the way you rig these, you want the hook emerging on the same side as the tail when you're fishing a curl tail, like so. You want that tail curl in the same direction as the hook. Oh, need a nibble. What am I thinking? Sure, some days these things don't matter, but I've seen too many times when they make a huge difference. Oh, there he is. Boy, did he thump it. All right. Oh, do we have our first black crappie? I think we do. Yes, we do. First black crappie of the trip. Not the biggest in the world, but big enough to keep. Whew, you were not getting off. Thank you, bud. Oh goodness. I might bend my hook getting it out of you. All right. That fish hit me once, missed it, and then smoked it again. That was just awesome. Oh, goodness. That's a nice one. Look at that one. All right. Look at him. Woo-hoo-hoo. So glad to have you, dude. Welcome aboard. I got some friends waiting for you. We're gonna have a party in here. There you go. Just so awesome how they absolutely just stop the bait. Just stop it. If you don't typically fish these things this time of year, you don't know what you're missing. It's just awesome. It's so much fun. And this technique just beats the daylights out of cork fishing. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, goodness. Whoa. Oh, look at this slab. Please stay on, dude. Oh, goodness, that's a tank. They don't get much bigger than this in this area. That's a beautiful fish. When I set the hook on him, I thought I had a log. He just absolutely stopped it. Whoo, boy, I'm lucky to get him. That was a beautiful fish. It was another white, just a really, really pretty fish. Literally, when I set the hook, I thought I had a stump. He did not move at all. I know some of you fish lakes that have 3-pound crappie. This river does not. It might have some, doesn't have many. That fish is as big as they get here. Just a beautiful, beautiful fish. If you're in South Louisiana, find you an area that's got some cypress trees, got some decent to good water, and just go beat the banks. Throwing these micro jigs, 1/32 or 1/16 ounce. You know, these fish are deeper, definitely, than they typically would be this time of year. And my bites have gone way up when I switched to the 1/16 ounce from that 1/32 ounce. The fish are farther off the bank in deeper water. And I don't know how far this bait is running, how far down, but I'd say maybe 2.5, 3 feet at the rate I'm retrieving it. So not crazy far down. You know, crappie feed up. They look up to feed. And if you run the bait under them, you're not gonna catch them. You can be a couple feet over their head and they'll come up and hit it, obviously. We've had a few do that today. Lost my nibble. There's only one thing to do when you lost your nibble. Put another one on. Don't make another cast without it. Oh, there he is. He thumped it. He thumped it. You're not even that big, dude, but man, you tagged it. Now, this fish is really white, but it's actually a black crappie. They just look a lot different. They're much wider, for one thing, and the spotted pattern is a lot different, more random. I'm telling you, you cannot believe how hard those fish hit. That was not a big fish. I'm sure you can tell I'm staying way off the bank now, since so many of these bites are coming, I don't know, at least 15 feet off the bank. Make a beautiful cast like that later in the spring, you'd be rewarded up close to the bank. Today, everything's way off. Oh, you dirty dog. I missed him. Man, he got my nibble too. Ah, that was a good hit, way out. All kind of little hidden stick-ups like this one. Make a long cast, and you get around one of these things. You gotta go get it. 4-pound test, not very forgiving. I've had about 3 or 4 break-offs today. Nothing too extreme, but it's gonna happen. This river I'm fishing, it's called a chifuncta. It's an Indian word, obviously. I'm not really sure what it means. Probably tough place to fish, something like that. This place is legendarily challenging. It's really close to my house, so I fish it a fair amount. Certainly though, if you live in South Louisiana, you can find a place that's better than this, no doubt. No doubt about it. The pearl gets really good when it's low. Right now it's high, although it is falling. Ton of good crappie fishing around the salmons. Of course, they call them sockeye down there as well. Used to be really good sockeye fishing throughout the northern Barataria Basin, but we had a severe hurricane 2 years ago, Hurricane Ida, really killed a lot of fish. They'll come back. It's going to take a little time. This year will probably be a lot of one-year-old fish in those areas. Fish produced in last year's spawn. That's why you don't have to be super crazy about releasing these fish in these areas that are influenced by tide, because they're going to die every few years from hurricanes. I mean, obviously, don't keep more than you need. That's just wasteful, but don't feel too bad about keeping some fish. All right, it's starting to get late. You can tell it's getting dark, but I got a bunch of the target species chilling in the live well, and that just makes for a great afternoon trip. Bait of the day by far was this black and chartreuse curl tail micro jig, 1/16 ounce chartreuse jig head. Does the color of the jig head make a difference? Probably not, I don't know. But the 1/16 ounce jig heads that I had happen to be chartreuse. But of course, I was tipping it with that crappie nibble. You would think it would not make a difference because you're retrieving the bait, but man, I can tell you it does. Maybe it's just a confidence factor. Maybe it's a placebo effect, I don't know. But I know for me, I'm gonna put that on every time because I really feel like it makes a difference. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. If you think somebody else would enjoy the video, please share it with them. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh or in the swamp, we'll see you right here at Marshman Masson. All right, y'all are not gonna believe who I got with me today.
What's up?
Longtime viewers know who that is. It's my son, Joel. We used to shoot videos together absolutely all the time, several a week. But he got a big boy job, doesn't fish with me anymore, hardly at all. But we're heading out today to make the maiden sockeye voyage of the year. You're watching from out of town, you're like, what is a sockeye? It's a crappie. We fish them on a river close to our house. Really kind of tough fishing frequently, but you can catch some really good slabs, and it's just a blast. Just love this time of year when those fish move up shallow. So we're gonna see what we can do today. You saw my recent pool test, throwing those bobby garlands. I'm gonna give some of those a try today, the ones that look good to me. We'll see if they work. But we got some other tricks in the bag as well, so come along with us. Let's see if we can catch some fish. All right, we just launched at the 4th Street launch here in Covington. There's lots of good stuff to fish downriver and lots of good stuff to fish upriver. We've kind of made the decision to head downriver, at least to start. May change our minds. Sometimes this is the bogo flyer. Sometimes this gets clean where the main chifuncta is dirty, and sometimes it's the other way around. Just depends on where rain is falling in the region. Water right here in the bogo fly doesn't look that great. It's okay, it's fishable. I think we catch fish in it, but it's not beautiful. We're gonna try and push back into some of the canals off the chifuncta and see if we can find some better water. What you think, Joel? We gonna catch them or
We're
what?
gonna catch a lot. I'm very optimistic. We got some great conditions today.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's super cloudy, hard overcast, not much wind. Well, a little bit of wind actually, look at that moss. But I like our chances, no doubt. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm starting with this Bobby Garland Hyper Grub. This bait looked really good to me in my pool test. And of course on here I got a crappie nibble.
And I'm starting with a Big Bite Baits
Popsicle,
grub. Popsicle grub.
Curl tail, popsicle grub. All right, Joel. First cast of the season. So this technique we've been doing, like basically you cast it, you let it fall to the bottom, and you basically just kind of running along the bottom. It's 5 feet deep where the boat is. You all right? You got a mess?
One cast.
You broke off?
One break.
You got snagged?
Yeah.
Water's not bad, Joel. I'm gonna say 7, 8 inches of visibility. Oh, there we go.
I was like, he ain't moving.
It's a really big one.
Yeah,
Might be the first lost bait of the day for Daddy. The good thing is, have you fished this technique yet?
Yeah, I have. I fished it with Jeff, so.
Like
I caught fish doing it.
when they hit it, they smoke it. It's awesome.
February 10th, 70 degrees.
63 degree water.
63, I mean, if they ain't spawning yet.
There's something wrong with them. Oh, that was a good hit. Okay, that was a good hit. First one of the day. That was a doink. Man, I thought that was a damn hookup. He tagged it. Dude, I snagged a freaking turtle. You gotta be kidding me.
Cut him off.
I'm not cutting him off.
Full of salmonella.
They do carry salmonella, you're all right.
Get the pliers.
I'll get my bait back. He wants to bite me, I can tell.
Snapping turtle. The bean.
Lost faith in the hyper grub. That ain't a panacea. Well, you know what? I'm gonna switch.
You never do that. Switch.
If what you're doing ain't working, try something different.
God, beetle's freaking limit.
There he is. That's a good hit, Joel. It's a bass. That was a good hit. I mean, he's the size of a sockeye, but he's not a sockeye. Oh, there he is. That's a sockeye, Joel. Yep, big one. All right, that's the target species, and that's actually a really good one. Don't break my line. He thumped it too. That's a good one. I don't know exactly where he was. Yeah, I just don't like that cork fishing. I just don't think it's nearly as productive. He thumped it.
That was a nice.
Yeah, it's a good fish. I think you should fish this way. You do what you want, but I think you should.
No, it's on re-rigging this.
Okay.
So right now, I say I'll give you $1,000. You walk out on that dog. Are you gonna do it?
No.
You said you ain't scared of dogs.
No, I mean, it's a big giant Rottweiler who's barking at us. I'm not walking on that dock. Nope.
He sounds pissed.
He's probably not. Probably just wants us to come greet him.
Honestly, I think if you gave me 10 grand.
I know you wouldn't do it for 10 grand. I know that.
Would you do it for 10?
That was either a fish or a little twig.
10 grand. Would you do it for 10 grand?
No, I wouldn't.
Damn, I didn't think so.
No. Nope.
I'm not scared of dogs.
Well, dude, it's an unfamiliar dog that could do serious damage to me. Is it worth it for 10 grand? No.
Oh, shit, dude.
You felt it?
I felt something.
Yeah. Probably a stick.
100 grand. Get $100,000.
I don't think I would. I don't think I would for 100 grand.
$500,000, $500,000.
$500,000 I would, yes.
You would?
You've reached my number, yes. Yes, I would. I would just hope to God that he was nice. There he is. There he is, Joel. Oh, look at that. That's got to be a bass. Yep, sure is. Yep. He tagged it. He tagged it. Little Chafuncta River bass in a spot where it should have been a sockeye. You up there spawning? You making a bed for your wife? What are you doing, dude? This bait has produced 3 fish. If you want to throw it. It ain't setting the world on fire, but yeah, this thing looks good in the water. All 3 have absolutely thumped it.
Looks just like a minnow. It looks really good.
Yeah, I know, it looks really good. Oh, goodness. Oh, Joel.
No.
Dude, did he drill it? He was hooked up. I don't know how he came off. He ripped the rod out of my hands. Way out here. Water's plenty, pretty enough. I don't know if I've ever caught him in here with this technique. I don't know if I've really tried. I know I've caught him in here in corks. We're gonna catch some back here. You know there's fish back here spawning.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. There he is. That's a sock. There we go, Joel. Not a big one, but a sockeye.
Nice.
I mean, get some fillets off of that, right? Since I already kept fish. Don't give up, Joel. Come on. Now we know there's at least some back here. Oh. There he is. That's a good one, Joel. That's a real good one. Goodness. Dude, that's a tank.
You want the net?
Yes, get the net. That's a big sockeye, dude. Oh my, I wonder if it's a bass. He hadn't jumped though. I think it's a sockeye.
Where, you want him on the right side or left?
I don't know. Yeah, it's
Holy
a big,
crap.
it's a big sockeye. Look at that one, dude. Dude, look at that fish. That's a tank. Wait, don't break my line.
Oh my
Good
goodness.
Lord, look at this
That's
fish.
a huge.
Look at this sockeye. Come on, you
sockeye.
gotta take my picture.
Heck yeah.
That's a big fish. That's the biggest I've caught in quite a while. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, look
Ooh.
at the length.
Came right out.
Like,
Yeah, let's see how long he is. Almost 16. Take a picture of that. Yeah, that's the biggest sockeye I've caught in years. That's a big one. You know, it's funny, that was the weakest hit of the day. I didn't feel him thump it, he was just on it. They must be staging. Ooh, because that's another hit, Joel. I'm just throwing out in the middle and just kind of letting it fall and dragging it across the bottom.
that'd be a miracle if I got the fish.
Just let it fall and slow roll it. You're right, it would be a miracle.
That's that 12-foot alligator I got in here.
It's a big one?
Yeah, well, last year I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
What'd you catch? You
Uh,
got a bass?
Sockeye.
We caught 3 bass in here, probably like this.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome.
You catching them today?
We're just fishing sockeye. We got, how many? 2 sockeye and 2 bass. That's it. Fish?
Well, you see this area here,
Joel's got one. There we go.
this little channel,
Sockeye.
we have a well over there that just constantly flows into this channel.
Uh-huh.
So it's fresh water.
Right. I got you. There you go. Put him in the box.
So what is that?
Sockeye.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that good eating?
Very good eating. Yeah.
Yeah?
The best.
Like, what do you compare it to?
There's nothing that compares to sockeye. Like that's the best eating fish there is.
Come on, really?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, if you catch a dozen, I expect one.
Okay. You got it. You got it. Where was he? Off to the right?
Yeah.
Did he thump it?
No, no, no.
He's just there. Good thing about in the middle, right?
Oh.
You got smoked. There's nothing gets snagged on, you know what I'm saying? I had hits on successive casts when you were tying. Oh, shoot, that was a hit. See, I think it's a lot of those little ones in here, but obviously there's some big ones. We're gonna let that rest. We're gonna just work our way out here, fish the middle again, see if we can catch some more, and then just let the wind push us back. There's more fish back there, 100%. All right, Joel and I are on our last stop of the day. We're in a little dead-end canal. We call it the residential canal for obvious reasons. And we just kind of discovered these fish are just holding out in the middle, probably staging before they move up to spawn. Not a ton of water in here. In the back pocket, it's about 4.5 feet. Right here where we are, it's about 3 feet. We're just throwing out into the middle. Getting a bite here and a bite there. Nothing setting the world on fire, but And the fish are obviously mixed. I caught some small ones, and I caught that absolute gargantuan fish. But even the small ones are bigger than most brim you keep. It's hard for me to throw sockeye back. They're just too good to eat. All right, the bait of the day has been this slab hunter minnow, this Bobby Garland. Looked really good in the pool. We've got this on a 16th ounce jig head. And we're just kind of casting out, letting it fall all the way to the bottom. And they're just kind of dragging it along the bottom. More bites than connections, but when they hit it, they do hit it hard. Deadly effective technique, just kind of this slow roll on the bait. Oh, there we go. Oh, not a big one, Joel. He came off. He dumped it hard. There he is. Oh, shoot. Lost another one, Joel. 2 misses in a row. Oh, goodness, that was a good hit.
What is that?
Sockeye. Catfish? I don't know.
It's not a
I think it's a cat. Yep, catfish. All right. Some variety. He will get a boat ride home because I love these guys. All right, bruh. Let's see. Get the pliers, make life easy. He thumped it. Goodness. There he is. There he is. Oh, Godzilla. Godzilla. Big enough to fillet. Big enough to fillet. Not big, but big enough. Are you dragging it along the bottom? Like, that's the key.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, don't even start your retrieve till it's on the bottom. Just barely slow roll it. Oh, goodness. What a hit. There he is. That's a good one. That's a good one. Nope, not a good one. Oh, goodness. I might not even be able to keep him.
Oh,
Yeah, he's pretty little. I'm gonna let this guy go. You get 2 pieces of paper off of him. Got him? Good one?
no.
No? Let's see. I don't know. I think he's nice. It's bigger than the one I just caught. Is he nettable? Swing this way. No, that's a good fish. That's a good fish, definitely. A big white. Put him in the chest for sure. Did you slow down? Like, is that why you feel like you got that bite? Huh?
I feel like I was doing the same thing.
Okay. You know, this is kind of how sockeye fishing goes. Like, these fish turn on, they decide they're going to bite, and they bite. And typically it is on the edges of daylight. And of course, we figured out a pattern here, throwing these baits and just dragging them straight along the bottom. Can we catch them under course right now? I guess, maybe. But this is working. So we're not going to find out. And this slab hunter minnow has so much action on its own. Like, you really don't have to do anything with this rod. And just retrieve that bait. Throw over here to the right, like right straight to that tree. I'm gonna throw to the right of it. There he is. There he is. Not a big one, Joel, at all. Right species, wrong size. Dude, how'd you even get that in your mouth? Look at that. It's like as big as his mouth. And the good thing about fishing this way, like when they hit this bait, even those little fish like that, It's just an absolute tattoo. And that was a stick. That was not a fish. There he is. That was a good hit. That's a good one, Joel. Better than what I've been catching. Yeah, it's a good one. It's not bad. Sac-a-lait, love them. Love them, love them. These are all whites. All of them. Get him, Joel. Well. Was he close to the boat?
Yeah, right here.
Was he? There he is. There he is, Joel. Not a big one. Man, there's a million of these in here. Fun to catch, just not big enough to eat. Need to get some upgrades. Are you stopping it like occasionally just to let it fall to the bottom? Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the bottom.
Okay. There he is.
Wow, this is terrible.
You want to come back here and I'll go up there? Do you think you're getting bites and not feeling them? Just for kicks, let's trade rods. Let's see if the rod's the difference. You never know, it could be. Like you might not be feeling them. This rod's a lot lighter, I know that. This is like an ice fishing rod.
Yeah.
There he is.
Really, the rods are
Man, that drag is loose. Good Lord. That's why I lost him. Guess it wasn't a rod. All right, it took a little time, but Joel and I definitely put something together. That's how it is with these fish. There's no guarantees. You definitely sometimes have to work for them. We did today, but we found them, found a pattern that they wanted, put some fish in the boat, and now we're gonna have a really, really tasty meal because, you know, sac-a-lait are the best fish that swim. They just are. They taste so good. They're phenomenal. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh or in this river, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson. All right, it is a beautiful spring morning. I know technically spring doesn't start until March 21st, but believe me, here in South Louisiana, spring has already sprung. And if you're like me, when it's springtime, you start thinking about crappie, which we call sac-a-lait. I've already made a successful crappie trip this year, and I'm heading out again to make it happen. Hopefully, once again, water temps are a good bit warmer, currently 57 degrees. Supposed to get up into the mid 70s today, so you know those temps are gonna come up a little bit. Got a full moon in 2 nights, so things are definitely prime. Kind of a halfway overcast sky. Definitely gonna have some sun poking through, but I guess you call it partly cloudy. Definitely optimistic. We got the conditions right time of year, all that good stuff. But you never know with this fish. They will drive you crazy, that's for sure. And that's why they're irresistible. So come along with me, let's see if we can catch a few. And I tell you what, we may catch fish this morning, we may not, I don't know. But there's never been a prettier morning for targeting these fish than today. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm starting with this slab hunter minnow, it's Bobby Garland bait. I've had good luck with this year. Discovered this thing in a pool test I did. I got that on a 16th ounce jig head. I'm going with my cast and retrieve method, that's it. Oh, I got hit already. I got hit already. 100% a hit. Second cast. There's a fish. There we go. Well, that's a bass. It's a start. Whoa, broke my line. That's a sign I might have needed to retie. Now that bass is bigger than any sockeye you're gonna catch, so I'm actually gonna keep him so I can show you how I cook my sockeye. Hopefully we'll end up with some. All right, first fish of the day was not a target species, but it's a start. Oh, there's one. Oh, shoot. All right, I'm 1 for 3 on bites today. That fish is hooked up for a couple seconds. Oh, there we go. That's got to be a sock. That's a good one, too. Oh, yeah, it's a real nice one. Oh, yeah. Stay on, baby. Stay hooked up. All right, yeah, it's a good fish. My goodness. That's a really good one. He tagged it too. Look at that fish. That's awesome. Big black crappie. Right by that cypress tree right there. It's the 5th bite I've gotten. It's only 2nd connection. But that's a good one. Part of the deal with doing this, lots of snags. Just got to kind of go in and get them. You typically reel down to it and push it off and get it with no problem. And of course, as we get a little later in the season, you got to be wary of wasps and snakes. Could be some snakes out today. Probably not any wasps though. You know, I've always historically fished sockeye with corks, and I've gotten away from it. I've been doing this technique for the past 2 or 3 years. Just casting and retrieving, every now and then kind of shaking the lure a little bit. It's got its good points and bad points, no doubt. I mean, when you're cork fishing, sometimes you can sit in one spot and just really load up on them. They are a school-oriented fish. With this technique, that seems to happen less often. You just kind of cover water and pick up stragglers. But this to me is just a whole lot more fun. It just is. You fish more aggressively. I don't really like just cork fishing slowly. Just not my favorite thing. I mean, look, if I get on fish and the cork's going down, obviously that's a blast. And I probably will throw a cork a little bit today. But these fish hit incredibly, incredibly hard. I'm fishing 4-pound mono, fishing a 1/16 ounce micro jig. So everything's really small. But man, the way these fish hit, just staggering. You know, you think of a sockeye as being such a sedentary, just lazy fish. But they're predators, man. When you feel them hit, you know that that fish is a predator. Like he's mad at that bait and he's wanting to kill it. Oh, man, I felt him destroy it. That was a great hit. Hopefully he stays buttoned up. Definitely a sockeye, no doubt. And it's a good one. Oh, he's not that good. He is a keeper. Not as big as the last one, though. All right, we're putting a box together. That's so awesome. Best part about these fish is how they taste. So good. All right, this slab hunter minnow, been a revelation. Really glad I did that pool test and discovered this thing. It looks so good. Obviously, it not only looked good to me, it looks good to these fish. Again, that fish just drilled it. Just drilled it. All right, I'm up in my average. That's 3 for 6. 3 connections, 6 bites. 50%. Not great. Hopefully it improves. Continues to get better. So once again, just 1 bite. That's it. Made a bunch of casts in this area. Caught that 1 fish. Seems like if you get one to bite a cork, you can throw back in that same spot and catch 4 or 5 or 6, maybe 10. But it's not the case, or at least not that I've found, fishing this technique. Got to keep moving. I guess the smart thing to do would be check it with a cork. Let me do that. I don't know, I just find cork fishing mind-numbingly boring. Back to the tight line. This is a lot more fun. It's the only time of year I target these fish. It's because they move up to spawn. You'll be able to catch them shallow for maybe 2 months at the longest. Not the longest, probably 6 weeks. I usually fish them 2 or 3 times a year. That's about it. Even though this river's close to my house, really convenient. Maybe at most a 10-minute truck ride, maybe a 10-minute boat ride. A lot of this matted grass on the river this year. I know a lot of people like to do something called doodle socking, basically breaking up holes in the grass and fishing those holes. It's not something I've ever done. Something I should maybe do, given the amount of grass in this area this year. Lots of it. You know 100% there's some fish under there. That's where I'd be if I was a cyclay. Completely protected. Just get in there, spawn, away from predators. And I don't know what it is about this style of fishing, but it's just so relaxing. You always feel good after a day of cyclay fishing. You know, I love throwing big topwater baits, trying to catch giant speckled trout. I like throwing lures to redfish, whatever else I can get to bite. Definitely love that. But this is just a different pace. Really a lot of fun, really enjoyable. Oh, goodness. Yeah, dude. All right. Whew. I made a cast that got snagged at the base of that cypress tree. Popped it off. Made a couple of cranks, and he smoked it. Oh, yeah, you were hooked well. You had to pop that line to get free. Oh, good Lord. There we go. There we go. So much fun catching these things. And of course, the most fun is thinking about eating them. There's a fish. Oh, goodness. All right. Good hit. All right, look at this guy. That actually might be a white. He's real dark because this water's so pretty, but I think it's a white crappie. There's a fine line when fishing this way between fishing too fast and fishing too slow. First few times I did it, I got a lot more snags. I was definitely fishing too slow. Much fewer bites. It's kind of a magic speed, and you got to figure it out based on your reel's ratio, so how fast it's bringing that lure in. My boat is positioned in roughly 4 to 5 feet of water. Right here is 4.7. That's kind of been about the average. And I would guess obviously it's much shallower close to the shoreline. I'd guess I'm retrieving it in general about halfway of the depth. So retrieving a little bit faster, closer to the shore, and kind of slowing down as I get closer to the boat so that it declines in that water column. And a lot of times they hit you real close to the boat. I don't know if it's fish that are staging out here on the drop off, or they follow you, or what. But you can't give up on a cast. You got to work it all the way in, because you never know when he's going to hit you. Oh, boy, did he tattoo it. Goodness. You're not even that big, dude, but you smacked it. You wanted to get it before one of your big buddies could, huh? I mean, I'm grateful to have you, but you're not all that big. There's one. Good hit. Ooh. This might be a bass. It sure is a bass. All right. Ooh, man, he took that bait deep. All right, that was a super fun trip. Sac-a-lait trips always are, particularly when they're biting that well. This is just prime time of year. Lots of good days still ahead. Like I said, I don't target sac-a-lait a whole lot, but I'll definitely be hitting them again this year because it's just a blast and they're so good. And this is the best part of catching sac-a-lait is you get to eat them. I'm gonna take you through a recipe I've been doing lately, kind of developed it over a few weeks, and it's absolutely delicious. Everybody who I serve it to loves it. Serve it to your friends. They're gonna think you're like some executive chef, but it's actually very, very easy. Just a few ingredients it requires. I think I got them all here, although I may run across something as I'm moving along that I forgot to put, but I'll tell you about it then. All right, first thing, got my fish. Of course, I've got that packed in ice. That's how I store fish in the refrigerator. It'll last up to 2 weeks. We got some pepper. We got some salt. We've got some bouillon. You can also use just chicken broth or chicken stock, whatever you like. I use this better than bouillon stuff. It's pretty good. Got some green onions. Got some capers. You may not have these, obviously, in your pantry. Not everybody keeps them stocked. I do, but these certainly an important part of this recipe. And then we've got some tallow. You don't need tallow. You can use any type of cooking oil that you like. I just find fish sears really, really well with this stuff. I kind of introduced you to it in a video just a couple weeks ago. So get some tallow if you don't have any. But if you just have cooking oil, that's totally fine as well. And then over here, I've got 2 pans heating up, a larger cast iron skillet, and then one that's a little bit smaller. We're gonna get everything rolling in this one first. All right, and already I forgot one key ingredient, white wine. Gotta have some white wine, super important. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw this white wine into the smaller cast iron skillet. Pretty good amount. We're gonna reduce this a whole lot. We'll turn up the fire, get it rolling. All right, this is where the bouillon comes in. I heat it up, I don't know, maybe about a cup of water, mixing my bouillon in there, nice and mixed, and I'm gonna add that to my wine, which is already bubbling. While that's all going, I'm gonna chop up our green onions, get those ready. All right, I thought of another ingredient you absolutely need, butter. We don't need this yet, but we are gonna need it. I'm gonna leave it out. I got these green onions all chopped up. Don't eat them yet. Capers off to the side. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and start cooking our fish. Oh, by the way, I do have rice going here in the Instant Pot. Takes about 20 minutes, so by then, everything else should be ready. All right, if you saw the video I did of cooking out in the marsh, I kind of told you then, I've really gotten to just using salt and pepper on really good tasting fish, which obviously sac-a-lait is. And it's really kind of important for this dish because the sauce we're gonna put on the fish adds so much flavor. All right, we're salted and peppered. Our pan should be good and hot. This is where the tallow comes in. We're gonna add that to our pan. We'll be searing fish in no time. By the way, Mrs. Marshman's sitting outside enjoying some sunlight. She's gonna be my taste tester today. She absolutely hates being in videos, so we gotta cut her a little slack. Give her a little thumbs up in the comment section. She'd love to hear it. All right, first batch is in the fryer. All right, that's searing. I'm stirring our eventual sauce. It's definitely reducing. It's probably about half the volume that it initially was. So we're getting there. We want to get it to maybe about a quarter of what it initially was. All right, batch number 1, probably ready to flip. Yep, good sear. Good sear on those. All right, these are ready to come off. Hungry?
Yes.
You can be eating soon.
Sorry.
You're gonna be eating soon. Hopefully you survive. Hopefully you make it. All right, here we go, batch number 2. All right, it's easy to forget about this, but we're right about where we need to be. Really, really close. I'm gonna go ahead and dump these green onions in. Now I made a lot of green onions, probably a little bit more than I normally do, but nobody ever said, you know what, this dish has too much of green onions. They're obviously really, really good. We're just gonna let those cook down just a short amount of time. All right, and this caper jar, you can tell, is almost empty, but that's about how many we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in. You could probably make this without capers, but I mean, why would you? Capers really kind of make it. Cook those down a little bit. Oh my goodness, that smells incredible. 4 ingredients so far, but I'm telling you, it smells so good. All right, we're gonna turn the fire down to 1 or low, whatever you got. And now a crucial step, we're gonna add butter just in pats. We're gonna let those melt. And for this part of it, I like using a fork to kind of whip that butter in. And of course, all the while I'm keeping an eye on my second pan of fish. Don't want those to burn, obviously. All right, another pat of butter. Look how good that looks. Believe me, it tastes even better than it looks. Gonna go with another pat of butter. And we're also gonna flip our fish, because I'm thinking that's about ready. Yep, perfect. All right, one final pat of butter, and that's gonna be it. We'll be eating soon. All right, this is how I like to serve this. Get some of our rice. Top it with some fish. And then we're gonna dump some of this sauce, spoon some of the sauce over the whole thing. All right, we're gonna give this one to Mrs. Marshman, but we gotta get some roasted veggies first. Make it a complete meal. All right, how's that look? Believe me, it tastes better than it looks. Let's see what Mrs. Marshman thinks. It's good as usual.
Delicious.
I know that it is, and now I get to eat it. Go sac-a-lait fishing, make this dish. Actually, you can make it with any fish you catch. Obviously, you need fish that holds up well in a pan. You can do it with speckled trout, I definitely do, but it doesn't hold together quite as well in the pan. Redfish, black drum, flounder, all that holds together really well, and obviously sac-a-lait does as well. All right, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, or in the river by my house, or in my kitchen, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson. All right, I woke up this morning at 4:30 like I always do. The older I get, the harder it is to sleep late. I don't know why that is. But I checked the current conditions. Air temp was 60 degrees, hard overcast, actually pretty calm. I said, you know what? It's time to go sac-a-lait fishing. Perfect conditions. So I came and launched on the river near my house, maybe a 10-minute truck ride, really even less than that, 8 minutes from my house. Super easy place to get to. It's not a terribly easy place to fish, but it does hold some sac-a-lait. We call them sac-a-lait. If you're watching from anywhere else in the country, you probably call them crappie. But it's just that time of year, mid-March, spring, lots of pollen in the air, flowers everywhere. All the azaleas are blooming here locally. It just really feels right today. So I'm gonna head out here and see what I can find. You know, it's my favorite fish to eat. How could it not be? It's probably yours as well if you've ever had them. So I definitely like our chances today. Come along with me. Let's see what we can catch. All right, first things first is gear. I got an ultralight rod loaded with 4-pound test. I'm gonna be throwing this Slab Hunter minnow on a 16th ounce micro jig. The plan is just to throw this, cast and retrieve, kind of close to the bottom, adjacent to cypress trees. That's it. Let's see what we can do. All right, great news. We did not get a fish on the first cast, so we won't have the first cast curse. This Slab Hunter minnow has not failed me yet this year. It's been super productive. But I did bring another bait, a new bait that I haven't fished yet, that I'm gonna give a try if this doesn't work. And you know, sockeye are super finicky. Like, they want what they want and they don't want what they don't want. And it's up to you to figure out what it is they want. That's what makes them fun to target. That and the fact that you get to eat them, because they are delicious. And if I catch a few of them, I'm gonna show you the way, one way I like to prepare them. I'm always experimenting with new ways to cook fish, because I catch so much fish. It's a big part of our diet. We may not catch anything in here, but man, doesn't this look good? Looks like there should be some fish here. It's a prison of cypress trees. Now, this technique has grown to be my favorite, not only because it's so productive, but also because it's just so much fun. Oh, there's one. There's one. All right, first fish of the day. When these fish hit, they smack it. This isn't a giant one, but he's big enough to keep. Definite black crappie. Just such a fun technique. I love it. The water temp, in case you're wondering, is 67. These fish should definitely be up spawning, no doubt. With these mild nights, mild water temps, middle of March, all the ingredients. Oh, there's a snag. Snags are part of the deal with this. If you're not getting snagged, you're not getting bit. Oh, there we go. That's a good hit. Stay on, big boy. Oh, that's a good one. Stay on, big boy. Please stay on. All right. That's a good fish. There we go. That's a good one. He was right on that cypress tree right there. Whoo, look at that. Came right out, came right out. And there goes a Canada goose. Man, when I was a kid, no Canada geese in Louisiana. Now they're absolutely everywhere. Weird. That fish hit that bait so hard. It's just amazing you can feel them that well with 4-pound test. And it's mono, so it's super stretchy. Just crazy. It really is similar to jigging for speckled trout. You get that hard thump. Not always. Sometimes fish just load up, of course. But often, man, it's just a shock wave up the line. That's why I love this technique. And retrieve speed varies. You want the bait about halfway down the water column. So as you get closer to the boat, you got to drop your rod and slow down a bit. Obviously, close to the bank, it's a lot shallower. You can maintain a faster retrieve speed. You definitely want to make sure you don't retrieve too slowly. Sockeye have a tendency to feed up, so you don't want to fish under them. Although I have had situations where you had to bump the bait along the bottom, and I've had that situation this year. Ooh, found a snag. So you really got to try everything. Oh, there's one. Oh, there you go. Stay on. Stay on. All right, another nice one. Really nice one. The target species. I love these guys. Whoo, whoo. Look at that. Look at that. Goodness. Good thing we kept pressure on him. We would have lost him. That was about my 4th cast in there. Let's see if he got his buddies fired up. Typically not. When I fish this technique, it's usually one and done. I usually don't load up. Oh, that was a bump. That was a bump. All right, let's see if we can get another one. Oh, something ate my tail. That's no good. That was probably a brim. I got to change that bait, but while I'm here, let me make a few more casts. But that's really what I love about this bait, is that tail. The action of that tail. It looks so good in the pool. There's another one, same spot. All right. Whew, he took it deeper. That's good to see. That's a good sign. Obviously a few fish right there. I could hardly even get that dude unhooked. All right, I got a new slab hunter minnow on there. Let's see if it brings us as good luck as the last one did. Before he lost his tail. I actually caught a fish on it without the tail. I've been making some casts off the drop-off because I've caught them there before, particularly when they're staging. And they could be staging really at any time in the spring. Obviously, the earlier you are in the spring, the more likely they are to be staging. But even now, there are fish waiting to spawn, even though certainly there are fish uptight spawning. But so far, I haven't gotten any fish off that drop-off. Everything's been uptight. And you see, sometimes you have no choice. Like right now, there's a bunch of lily pads blocking. I would love to fish all that, but I really can't. So I just kind of fish on the outside of it, hoping to catch a staging fish. There's a lot of this alligator grass as well. It's really thrived this year on this river. It's everywhere. Ultimately a good thing. Definitely helps fish populations. It can make fishing a little bit more challenging, or at least a style of fishing. And this is not a technique, at least on this river, where I expect to catch 100 of these fish. You know, my upper expectation is maybe 20, 25. I hope to catch at least 8 or 10. It's just so much fun, so relaxing. Obviously incredible scenery, super peaceful. Air temps are right now probably about 70. Just a very pleasant day. A great day to be outside. Got a lot of these this time of year. And of course, all these trees provide you some protection from the wind. I don't know if you can see the trees up there, but the wind's blowing really hard right now, but you can't tell it in here. It looks like it's slick as glass. It's definitely pushing me along in this canal. Here at the surface level, it's not too bad. Now, believe me, if you've got a productive sac-a-lait fishery close to you, and you use this technique, I'm sure you could catch 50 or 100 and have an absolute blast doing it. But even with the fish I've got now, I've got enough to show you my recipe, show you my cooking technique. And this is one you're definitely gonna wanna do. I'm all about simple techniques that produce dishes that taste like you spent hours cooking them. And this is definitely one of those. Oh goodness, I got smoked. Don't know how I missed him. How could he hit that hard and not get the bait? But he did. He clearly did. All right, although I love that slab hunter minnow, I feel like I got to keep the fish honest, so I'll make a few casts with this bait. It's a Mojo tackle bait. I don't even know what it's called. The manufacturer sent me some. But it's a curl tail bait, white and chartreuse. I kind of prefer black and chartreuse, but we're gonna make a few casts. Doesn't hurt to make a few casts, right? Well, let's see how this thing looks in the water. All right, looks really good. Great, great, great action on that curl tail. Or at least looks like great action to me. Let's see what the fish think. I gotta imagine this thing's gonna fall a good bit slower. So I'm gonna have to probably slow down my pace. Man, I'm impressed. This bait looks really, really good. Some of the curl tails that I threw in my Bobby Garland pool test did not look good. And actually the one that looked the best, the hyper grub, I think it's called a hyper grub, I fished and couldn't get a bite on it. Could not get a bite on it. Switched to that Slab Hunter minnow and almost immediately started catching fish. Now, was it a color deal? Who knows? Definitely sac-a-lait are very color sensitive, no question about that. More so than probably any fish. If you don't throw the color they want that day, you're not gonna get bit. In general, for this area that I fish, I'm a big fan of black and chartreuse. Couldn't really call it Slab Hunter minnow chartreuse, it's really more yellow, kind of like Pittsburgh Steeler colors. But it's close enough. This thing has such good tail movement, I can actually feel it in the rod. Pretty impressive. And as I told you in my pool test, my bias is always toward action. And I know not everybody is the same way. Some people want to, well, that's a good cast. Some people want to bait with little action. I get it. I get it. Fishing after a cold front or something like that, probably that's the case. But this technique, on the days that I fish, I want a tail that's gonna wiggle some. All right, this is one you gotta be careful on. I got snagged right up under this cypress tree. Not sure what I'm snagged on, but you gotta look above for snakes or wasps. Both of which could be out this time of year. Unfortunately, this snag robbed me of a great cast. I got it right up under there. Ooh, I see it, it's way deep in there. Let's see if we can get it. Yep, we got it. All right, no bites at all on this Mojo tackle bait. Could be a color situation. And I have this black and gold. Let me try that one. If not, we're gonna quickly switch back to the Slab Hunter minnow. We know they want that. Slab Hunter minnow is Pittsburgh Steeler colors. This is New Orleans Saints colors, I guess appropriately, since we're fishing in South Louisiana. All right, as an old saying, you should dance with who brung you. The Slab Hunter minnow brung me to this dance, so that's what I'm gonna go back to. I know they'll hit that. The issue with this bait is not the action. I think it's the buoyancy. I only got a 16th ounce jig head. I wish I had a 3/32. I just don't have one. Something to get this bait down a little bit more. It just rides too high in the water column. So I'm gonna go back to that Slab Hunter minnow and see what I can do. Oh, there's a good hit. Oh, that's a big slab. That's a big one. All right. That's a good fish. Look at that. Glad to have this one. Slab Hunter minnow. Glad I went back to it. This one's gonna be tasty. Heavy fish, man. Out in the middle of this little cypress flat. Probably, definitely spawning in here. Probably, definitely. That makes sense. That would be my guess. He or she, we'll know later, was probably spawning in here. Again, these hits, I mean, you just got to experience it. You just got to do it and experience it. It's indescribable. Crappie are savages, no doubt. They are savages. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a morning. It's very nice living so close to a place where you can come and do this. It's just good for the soul. So relaxing, so fun. Feeling these fish hit, I mean like a ton of bricks. And obviously anticipating the meal you're gonna have when you get to eat them. And that's what I'm doing now. Definitely getting kind of hungry. I still gotta clean these fish and I've gotta cook them. So come along with me for that. Next time you see me, I will be in my kitchen and I'm gonna show you a recipe that, believe me, you're gonna love. All right, see you in a minute. All right, that was a super fun trip, but sac-a-lait trips always are, particularly when they're that close to home. I mean, it's just such a convenient place for me to fish. And if you haven't tried that technique yet, you definitely got to do it. It's productive, and it's also just a whole lot more fun. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how I like to cook sac-a-lait, or crappie as you might call them. And actually this recipe works with a whole host of fish. So if you want to try it with speckled trout, redfish, walleye, whatever, I don't know, whatever you catch, try it with that. I promise you it's going to be good. All right, first ingredient, definitely an essential one. You know, just like we call crappie sac-a-lait, we call these pecans. You might call them pecans, or if you're up north, you might call them pecans or something like that. But anyway, we call them pecans. Definitely an essential ingredient. Of course, I always cook with butter, so you need some butter, you need a lemon, you need some honey, heavy whipping cream, hot sauce, and a beer. You don't necessarily need a beer. You could make do with just milk, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this beer in just a second. All right, first things first, though, we got to get this heavy whipping cream going because we got to reduce it. So let's do that first. All right, I'm thinking I'm going to use just about half of this. Maybe a little bit more than half, we'll see. Maybe about that much. So yeah, I'm saying it's about half of this. And this is, what is this, a pint? Yeah, this is 1 pint. Put that back in the fridge for Mrs. Marshman to put in her coffee. All right, so that's got to heat up and reduce. And while that's going on, we're gonna get some other stuff ready. Okay, right here in my Instant Pot, I've got some cabbage going. It's right around St. Patrick's Day, so cabbage is on sale. It's actually 18 cents a pound today, so I bought some. All right, I got my food processor. And we're going to go ahead and chop up some of these pecans, or pecans, whatever you want to call them. Not that much. All right, that's about the perfect consistency for this. We're going to go ahead and dump these on a plate. Check on our cream. It's starting to bubble, so we're going to turn it down a little bit. You definitely got to monitor this because you don't want it to burn. Stir frequently. The goal is to reduce that by about 75%. So you get it to be about 25% of what it is now. All right, we're gonna mix some flour in with, I forgot to mention we need flour. Mix that in with our pecan, what do you call it? Dust, I guess? Pecan, chopped pecans, I don't know. And you want that about 1 to 1, that mixture. Also, this is something you might want to add some Cajun seasoning. If you just have salt and pepper, that'll be fine. Just add that. I use salt and pepper on fish most of the time, but I do like this Cajun seasoning with this dish. I don't know why, I just do. Just tastes really good. Want a fairly good amount of that. Mix all that up. That is going to be good. All right, our cream is bubbling. Give it a good stir. You want the temp to just kind of keep it at a light simmer. I don't know if you can see that, but that's just a light simmer. That's perfect. All right, our cream is well on its way, so we're going to go ahead and get our fish ready. Let me get a bowl. All right, go ahead and open the beer. This is a vanilla porter, but whatever you got. Any brand, any type, whatever you got in your fridge. And if you don't have any of that, just use milk. Milk works very well for this. All we're going to do is dip the fish in there. You dip them in the flour mixture first, then in the beer, then back in the flour mixture, and put them directly in the pan. You don't want to do them ahead of time because then the mixture all comes off. It sounds crazy. You would think it would kind of set on there, but the opposite happens. It just kind of comes off. So as soon as you dip it the second time in the flour mixture, be sure and put it right in the pan. All right, I kind of punted on an ingredient. I normally cook this in butter. I cook this fish in butter, but I'm kind of doing it in time crunch today, so I want a much hotter pan. So I'm going to go ahead and use my tallow that I've been using. If you do it at home, cook it in butter. Just cook it a little bit more slowly. Not too slow. Obviously, you need a hot pan, but you don't want to risk burning your butter. It's kind of a fine line. I'm going to go ahead and do the tallow just to make sure I get it right. Okay, as I mentioned, dip a fillet in the mixture. Then dip it in the beer. And then dip it again in the mixture. And I do put it on a plate just momentarily while I get enough ready for that batch in that pan. Don't let them sit more than like a minute or so. And I'll tell you what, that vanilla porter smells really good. Maybe I just should have used milk. And drank the vanilla porter. All right, we got 4 fillets done. That's probably enough for this batch. So let's go ahead and drop our tallow in. And then these yummy fillets. All right, perfect sear on these things. The pecans will get really dark, just like that. That's absolutely perfect. Now, Mrs. Marshman is wandering around somewhere around here, going in and out. She's gonna be my taste tester. I'm a taste tester as well, but I know it's gonna be delicious. Trust me, this is one you definitely wanna make at home. All right, there we go. All right, our cream is getting super close. Not quite there yet, but it's getting close. Still a little bit liquidy, but it's getting there. A whole lot thicker than it was. What happens when you reduce it, you just cook out all the moisture. So it gets a whole lot thicker. Okay, you generally want to cook half as long on the second side as you do on the first side. So these are definitely done. My cream. Come start. Is it pretty reduced?
I think so. It's now definitely a whole lot different things for.
Okay. All right, I got Mrs. Marshman helping me stir the cream because it was starting to get a little bit ahead of me. It's very close to being ready. I got to get this last batch in the fryer here or in the pan. Oh, and I grabbed a couple of speckled trout fillets that I had just to use the rest of this mix. All right, Mrs. Marshman, who's quite a cook herself, says that that is done. I believe her. We turned it off. All right, look at the consistency of that cream. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, our honey has gotten super thick, so I had to take the cap off. But I guess I'm adding probably about 2 tablespoons. Just add it to taste. That should be enough. Okay, we're gonna mix that up in there. All right, our consistency is absolutely perfect. We're gonna take our fish out. Last batch. We're gonna add some lemon zest. Again, not essential. Just adds a nice kind of backbeat to this. You want a little bit of acid because otherwise it could be a little bit sweet. The lemon's a nice balance, so is the hot sauce. All right, that's that. Okay, and I got this hawk sauce. That's gonna go in there. This is hot sauce that has a really good taste, not very hot. Don't want a ton. Just a few little dabs. Mix that up. Perfect, absolutely perfect. We're gonna be having a feast in just a second. Mrs. Marshman's so excited. She's not even mad that I made a mess in the kitchen. All right, so we put a couple of sac-a-lait fillets on the plate. Then we drizzle this honey cream sauce over the top. Just about like that. We got some smothered cabbage we did in the Instant Pot. We'll throw that on there. All right, this is gonna be awesome.
Oh, it's amazing. Delicious.
On a 10 scale, what is it?
A 10.
All right. She wouldn't lie, particularly not about my food. All right, I'm gonna eat some myself, and I'll definitely be honest.
The coating is perfect. What did you use?
The coating is perfect. I used pecans and flour. All right, here we go. First bite. Mrs. Marshman is right. It's a 10 out of 10. It doesn't get any better. And I'll tell you this. Last time I did this, I did it with milk. Dipping the fish in milk instead of the beer. It's better with the beer. If you got a beer at home, use that instead of the milk. You can definitely taste it. It is absolutely delicious. This is phenomenal.
The coating is like really good.
Mm-hmm. This is very good.
Eating all this cabbage.
I don't know if it's a sac-a-lait or what, but this is like even better than usual. It is really good.
I was not lying. I mean, I normally would.
Yeah.
A 10.
I give this a 10.
It's very good.
I've never had a better meal in a restaurant. All right, make this at home. You saw how easy it is. A couple of keys. You definitely don't want your pan as hot as you would if you were just searing fish. You kind of got to bring it up to temp. You got to bring the fish up to temp a little bit slower. Not much. You do want a hot pan, but just not like if you're searing. particularly if you use the butter. Again, that tallow is a little more forgiving, but the pecans on here, they will burn, but you do kind of want them almost on the edge of being burnt. It's a fine line, I know. You'd rather maybe a little bit under than over. That's definitely the case. But you certainly want to make this at home. And again, the first time I ever made this was with snapper, so you don't have to have sockeye. But, you know, sockeye makes every single fish dish better, right? Because it's just such a good tasting fish. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. You can do that by clicking that button right there. Also, here's 2 videos YouTube thinks you'll like. Check those out if you get a chance. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh or here in my kitchen, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.